guess what day it is, everybody? If you've checked your calendar, you know it is April Fool's. So let's go over April Fool's Day. This was my first time watch. I had not seen this before, ever. And this is a Shout Factory release. This just came out on Blu-ray, so finally you can see this in its glorious Blu-ray transfer. No more DVDs or VHSs. This thing's been out of print for so long, and now you can finally get a copy of it. I haven't been able to stream it. It's never been available since I've checked. So finally, I've been able to watch it. And I will go over my thoughts, but this is a movie that I feel like has to be a spoiler review because this movie is famous for its twist. And that's basically the only thing that you can talk about is that twist. There's not a whole lot that really goes on in the movie. So I feel like this is just going to be spoilers throughout the whole time. So watch the movie. You can get it now on Blu-ray. And then come back and watch this review. So, from the director of When a Stranger Calls, Fred Walton, and the composer of Nightmare on Elm Street comes April Fool's Day, which has an unbelievable cast. I was just like, oh, I recognize that person. Oh, like just everybody. You got so many recognizable faces in here. You got Deborah Foreman. She's been in a lot of stuff, and most recently I saw her Waxwork. And then you got Jenny, played by Amy Steele in Friday the 13th Part 2, which is a franchise I will be going over soon. And then you got Nate from Leprechaun, played by Randy or Ken Olandt. That's his name. And then you got Thomas Wilson from Back to the Future, Butthead, that guy, and Make Like a Tree and Get Out of Here or something like that. That guy. This was produced by Frank Mancuso Jr., who produced a lot of the Friday the 13th movies back when it was in Paramount's hands and not New Line. So just lots of familiar people in this movie and behind the camera. So it's just name after name, and the opening credits, I was like, I know that person, I know that person. It was just fun. So now let's get into the movie itself. Not get into the spoilers right away, but I will, trust me. So just warning you right now. Let's talk about it. Okay, so first up, positives. Let's go over those. The poster. This is a classic 80s poster, back when the posters were what was sometimes the best part of the movie, was just the poster. Then you watch it and it's shit. This is not that case, but this is still just a fantastic poster. The movie could be crap, but I'd still be here being like, well, at least the poster's cool. Just the whole braided hair and a noose. Is that possible, I wonder? If I was a girl, now that I've seen this movie, if I was a woman with long hair, this is what I would do with my hair, just as a joke. I would love to see somebody with that somehow noose in their hair. That would just be funny. So that's one thing I like, and I've already mentioned the cast, but not only is the cast great, but the characters, and that's important because, spoiler, like I said, this movie's not about the kills and the gore because nobody's dying. So the characters need to save the film, and they need to be memorable. They need to be funny. They have to have good dialogue and good acting. And that's where this film really delivers, is in all those areas. This has good acting. These people are very experienced. They're not a bunch of nobodies. These people have funny lines and funny dialogue, good chemistry together. You got the pranksters and the jock people. They're kind of stereotypical in a little bit. Like Thomas Wilson, he's like the jockey character because he's big. But you got the photographer guy who's filming stuff.
Guy, your fly's open and your hostess Twinkie is hanging out, huh?
That character, Chaz, I think was his name, Chaz or Chazo, with Thomas Wilson's character, Arch, they were the best part. Their chemistry, their back and forth, their jokes were just funny to me. And so all these characters are fantastic. Their back and forth, the pranks they do on each other. And that's another thing I like about this movie, is that it's called April Fool's Day, and it's not just them calling it that, and they don't do any pranks, or they do one prank at the very end or something, and that's the big twist. No, they are pranking each other the entire movie, just from beginning to end. It starts off kind of small, the guy going oh, your fly's open, not your fly is open, and then he gets to one guy, his fly really is open. So just all kinds of pranks from beginning to end. It's just fake out to fake out, but it's excusable because, after all, it is April Fool's Day, the movie's called April Fool's Day. It's not like all these other horror movies where there's fake outs and dream sequences, and it's not on April Fool's and you're just pissed off. This movie, I can accept the fake outs. Normally that's a negative, but in this movie, it's a positive or it's just okay because of the title and the premise that I can accept these fake outs. But yeah, just the characters are fantastic. They're funny, and that's really just the big thing that I really liked about it. This is a good transfer. So if you're wondering if it's a good transfer, of course, this Shout Factory usually does a good job of the transfer. So I really like the end song. It's very funny. I'm not sure if they wrote that song for this movie, but it's very corny and wacky, and I just think it fits the tone of the movie because the tone really is not too dark. It's not scary, really. This movie doesn't really succeed as a horror film, so I guess maybe that would be a negative, but I would just go into this as a whodunit, just fun horror comedy. It's more like a horror comedy, but mainly funny. But the movie tries to play out as a mystery slasher, and I feel like on your first viewing, knowing that, like not knowing the twist and just thinking it is a whodunit, paint by number slasher, the mystery is somewhat intriguing. You're like, who is it? Who's responsible? Because they give you like this one red herring, this guy who got injured on a dock earlier. You're thinking like, oh, I guess it's him, or maybe it's this twin sister that they're talking about, the newspaper clippings. But then you find out it's all just a game, and there was no evil twin. It's just a fun twist. And I feel like the twist is make or break for a lot of people. So, I don't know. I liked it. It's okay. I like it because this movie, it was, when you don't know that's about to happen, it's going in that same direction. Who done it, off-screen kills, and it's just like, this is a bland slasher movie. And then the reveal happens, you're like, oh, this isn't a slasher movie at all. No one's been killed. So it actually makes it different. This one stands out from other slashers. This isn't a slasher, but it makes this movie kind of stand out, and it's memorable because of its twist that I like it. Because if this was just a slasher movie and that dock worker or the twin sister thing was real and we got all these off-camera kills, this movie would suck. So I like the twist. Another thing I like is the isolated setting. I think writing-wise, it makes sense to put these people in this island with this big old nice house that this one woman is inheriting from her dead mom or dead dad or something. I like the isolated setting. And that's about it. So let's just move into my negatives. And that is, it's not very rewatchable because there is no like on-screen kills at all. There's no blood. You got fake looking severed heads. There's no like it just kind of ruins any second viewing. Like usually slasher movies, you'll watch it again, you know what's going to happen, but you get to see cool kills or something, That's why you're watching again, and sometimes you got cool characters. This one, it just has cool characters, off-screen kills, and you know why they're off-screen, and you know the twist, so therefore I just feel like this movie, because of this twist, and having no on-screen kills or gore at all, no creative kills, no cool like setups to these off-screen kills at all. It's just like they walk in the room, boom, it's over. Because of all that, it just kind of like ruins any like rewatchability for it. But I think this is like a once a year watch. Like because it's April Fool's Day, it's got that title and it's got pranks throughout. You can watch this every April Fool's Day and probably enjoy it each time. One thing I did not care for is teased nudity. Seriously, you got this gorgeous chick. She just opens up the windows and she's just like got her like button up shirt taped to her chest because no matter what she does, like it doesn't move. Like that one girl, Dario something. What's her name? She's in Texas Chainsaw 3D. Remember that scene? And her boobs are just begging to be fucking seen, but her shirt's like taped to her chest. It's annoying. It's just like, oh, please, don't tease me. This movie teases you. Like, if you're not going to show boobs, don't tease me at all. All right? No. So I hated that. And just a nitpick. These people are like 18. They're talking about graduation. Like, what are you gonna do after graduation? It's like, these people are 18. Get the fuck out of here. They are 30. Some of them are like 25 at least. And I looked up one of them. They were like 29 or 30. So these ain't 18-year-olds. That's typical 80 movies. So, final thoughts. I thought this was a fun watch. The characters really saved the movie for me. The twist saved it from being a typical paint-by-number slasher with no on-screen kills. There is no on-screen kill, so that's kind of lame. So don't watch this as a slasher. Just watch it as a horror comedy with a cool twist. So when it comes to April Fool's Day, I think this is a cult classic with a great cast. So go out and buy it. Now I guess I can just talk about random little things. Since I already did my spoilers section, which was my whole review, I usually do spoilers at the end, but the whole pros and cons was spoilers. So now let's just talk about little things. Let's talk about that daring ass like a prank at the beginning. So it's like they throw the knife and it's somehow like they have that set up, I guess like maybe a magnet or something, so it like hits him and they have that set up. And I like when he gets out of the water, he looks like he's completely dry within a minute. Just completely dry. It reminded me of like Michael Caine at the end of like Jaws the Revenge. He gets out of the water, he's completely bone dry. But so this special effects guy who we're supposed to believe is just a dock worker is in the water. There's the dock, here's the boat, and he's screaming like, ah, and then he goes underwater, comes back up, he's got like his eyeball hanging out, he's got like his whole prosthetic put on. Like he put it on that quickly, and I'm supposed to believe that him getting smashed up against a dock by a giant ferry boat would cause that damage? That threw me off in the moment. Like, I knew the twist, by the way, I should probably say that. I knew the twist of this movie going into it, so, yeah. That was a shame, but because it's like the Star Wars thing, you know, like I Am Your Father or Psycho. Like, you know the twist because it's just that popular. Maybe not on that level, but I knew this twist going in. So just seeing that dock worker and his face, I'm like, that's what happened? Getting smashed by a boat? What the fuck caused that? So that was just odd. And so then they get to the house and they're just pulling pranks on each other left and right. Got like whoopee cushions, cups that like just spill on them. I like the scene with the whole light switch. I guess I should give my clapper award away. This is my favorite scene in the movie. It's just when they get to the house and all these pranks are going on. The whoopee cushions, the drinks, like I said, the exploding cigar, the light switch that causes this light to come on when this one turns off. I just thought all that was funny. And the hottest chick in this movie is Nikki, who teases her boobs but doesn't show them. But that scene later on when she's like banging Chaz and they're in the weirdest sex position I've ever seen on film. She's hot in that scene too, but we don't get to see her boobs. But that is just an odd sex scene. I like how Ford Harvey is. He's talking to Nikki and he's like talking about how he's from the South and he wants to plow her field. Then she falls in the well and he's going down to like save her. And he's like reaching for it. He can't reach her. And he just won't go down one more rung. It's like, there's another one below you. And so, yeah, like this whole prank wouldn't work if one person would just be like, no, I'm not going along with it. Like, they were basically all being recruited for this prank after they all quote unquote died. As soon as they got like encountered by the quote unquote slasher bad guy, they would basically just scare the shit out of them, like pretend like they're gonna stab them and be like, oh, by the way, it's all a prank. Do you mind playing dead for the whole weekend or the next 24 hours so we can go prank the other people? What if one of them said no? Boom, prank over. That person could go rat you out right now. And I just love how easy to forgive these people are. Like, Jenny Steele's character, and she's hot in this movie, by the way, too, when she's in the boathouse and they're about to like have sex and she grabs Nate's junk. That was sexy. She is unbelievably gorgeous in this movie. I don't know what the hell she was thinking with that tie. That outfit looks horrendous. Why is she wearing that? Ugh. But anyways, like towards the end, they're on the couch and it's all revealed to be a joke. And Nate's in the back. He's like banging on the door like, I love you, Jenny, whatever her name is. Like that, he wants his dying words to be like, I love you. I want you to know I love you before you die. Like he is just screaming. He has lost it. Like I thought he was going to go like psycho. Like he was gonna break and then he was gonna be the slasher. But they didn't go that route. But they're just so quick to forgive. Like once it's revealed, they're like, oh, you guys, ha ha ha. It's like, no. Somebody needs to get punched. Like, I would not stand for that shit at all. Like, we're not friends no more. Muffy. And that's a weird name, too. Like, her name's Muffy, and then when she comes up with this fake twin sister, she calls her Buffy. I like the whole doll thing, too. It's on the front cover of the Shout Factory poster. And just like they have like the dolls set up in like their death positions, I guess. One of them has like blood on the doll. I thought that was kind of cool, for, like a visual. And Chaz supposedly got his dick cut off, and you do have to stretch, belief. You have to like, all right, whatever. Like somehow, Nikki leaves the room, and then like not even a minute later, she's back in there, and he's already got like, this whole like fake blood and like whole thing set up with like a fake dick or something. I don't know. Like he's got like blood down there. He didn't scream. Like I feel like Chaz got off easy. If I felt like he never really got scared. What did the killer walk in and be like? I'm gonna go prank the rest. You need to play dead. I'm gonna put some blood on your dick. Like I want to see that interaction. What the hell happened? She walks in and then she sees the killer, cuts away. So yeah, that's all cutaway kills. But one that wasn't cutaway, and I'm very curious how they pulled it off. Not just behind the scenes of the movie, like in the movie itself, these characters, how the hell did they hang Harvey? This guy's not only hanging by the neck, but he's got his hands tied behind his back and his legs up, like his feet are up against his ass, basically. Like his feet are tied together, too. He's suspended in the air, not touching the ground, completely tied up. And how long has he been hanging? How is it not, like, tugging at his throat? I'm very curious how they pull that off. Like, what's the effect of that? Like, was the rope, like, really hanging on to something? Like, he had, like, some vest underneath his shirt that it was hanging on to, maybe? This movie has a cat scare, and I just feel like maybe that's the movie being a satire of slashers. Because since this really isn't a slasher, it just feels like it's a satire on slashers. So I feel like they purposely threw in this stupid cat scare just as a wink and like, making fun of other slashers that do it, like Halloween 2 and Slumber Party Massacre and so on and so forth. There's just a fake, like, stupid cat scare in it. There's a cat, boom, jumps out of nowhere. This guy's in the boathouse, cat jumps out, and we never see that cat again. Cat doesn't have a name. This is an island with one house, maybe? I don't know. We never really get to see the whole island, but it's called an island, I think. I think one of them says that it is an island. The abortion prank was pretty cruel. This one chick has like an abortion or had one at some point, and her prank that's being done on her is a recording of a baby crying. So that's cruel. And there's like these little subplots and things mentioned that really go nowhere. Like Harvey wants to like eventually get with and marry Muffy because she's rich, and he's like new to the group when he arrives. He's like in the room he's like talking about like, so who's Muffy? Is that really her name? Like, so yeah, like you got all these new people coming in, and they all have like their little backstories and subplots going on that really go nowhere. I think there's like a love triangle maybe, because I remember one character saying like, I'm with this guy now, so you better back off, something like that. So here's something else. So we know that the whole twin sister thing's bullshit, but here's the thing. They call Ginny and Nate, that's not their names in this movie, but I'm calling them that. So Ginny and Nate, they call the cop, who's not a cop, we find that out, and he's actually at the hospital taking his role very serious to sell the idea that he's at the hospital, because he could have just been at home, or somewhere on the island hiding, took the phone calls, I don't know, but they call him, and he's like, yeah, I'm at the hospital where Buck is at. And like just to sell the idea, like, oh no, it's not, I think they said Buck, right? The dock worker, it's not Buck, it's a twin sister. So that's, the cops trying to sell them on the idea that there's this evil twin sister, but he's actually at the hospital. So I just thought that was odd. Like, why is he there? There's no one really injured. So he took that role very serious. I mean, their pranks are just fucking dangerous. I mean, you got Arch, who could have been bitten by a poisonous snake, and you got the whole dock thing, like I already talked about. Just like, I mean, when they went in the well and they purposely had like the rungs to where they could break out. Like, what if they flew back and hit their head on the other side of the well? Like, there's so many room, like there's so much room for error in their plan, like where people could die. And it's so damn dangerous. And she plans on making this like the theme for the island. Like she wants to make this house that she's inheriting like a prank hotel where there's a new setup and a new fake killer and new fake pranks going on. Like that's a lot of time and creativity that would get exhausting. I don't think she's thinking in the long run, but somebody's gonna get killed. You're gonna get sued. I mean, I think the two characters at the end of this movie, I think they could potentially sue this friend of theirs for like mental anguish. Like, because like I said, Nate was out of his mind at the end. He was screaming like a little girl, punched a guy in the face, didn't faze him at all. But yeah, it's just a crazy ass prank she tried to pull. And then, they all get drunk, they're celebrating. Their prank was successful, and then she's in her room, she gets like this little box, and then her friend, the one who had an abortion, gets her back, and she's like slicing her throat, and she's got like the fake knife and whatnot, and she thinks for a second that she really did get her throat slit. So I just like that payback, because she deserved it. The whole abortion thing, yeah, that was cruel. So yeah, this movie ends with a final fake out. And I do like the whole Chaz, he takes the severed head of one of the girls, and he's like giving himself a fake BJ with it. I thought that was funny. But yeah, final fake out, fake out, fake out, fake out. This movie's full of it. So what are your thoughts on this movie? Put all your thoughts of this classic in the comments below. And thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you like what you see, you can hit this like button, share it with all your friends, and become a Patreon for as little as $1 a month to support my channel and to request movie reviews. And you can support my channel also free just by becoming a subscriber by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And until next time, auf Wiedersehen.